This is weird.
From the land of conjurers, flying through the internet to your device like a UAP, hauntingly unexplained and downright weird, this is the Witching Hours, and we are ready to take off in the flash of an eye. Good evening to one and all, wherever and whenever you're listening to our program. I am Frosty, and joining me, as always, is the medium Jenny Lee. How are you doing, Jenny?
Doing pretty good today. How about yourself?
Oh, well, we're both back in the saddle. My long summer break has come to an end, and your shorter
My
little
short
excursion.
2 weeks off is over. Yeah.
And it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. We were talking about this last night. I had a great summer. I got to spend a lot of time with our girls this summer, and so we did. Nothing extravagant, but we had Team Weird Takeover.
Yep.
So that was probably one of the highlights of my summer. That was great. We had a great time doing that, and I spending time with the girls and hanging out. And now it's back to the grindstone.
Yes.
Yeah. So real quick, thank you one and all for coming in and joining us tonight. I already see Norse in chat. Welcome in. Keisha Mama, welcome in. Maxi Kuhn, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And as people pile in, feel free to say your hellos and we'll get you up there on chat. As always, if you're listening to us at another time, at another place, you can always do the like and subscribe and leave a review. All of those things are always wonderful in terms of helping other people find the show to talk about weird stuff, because that's what we do here. We talk about anything weird. So here we go. So any of that would be appreciated. And you ready for some weird news, Jenny?
Sure. Why not?
All right.
If you've got a spooky shop, haunted attraction, paranormal book, or a strange little business of your own, you can sponsor the Witching Hours. We offer host-read ads, and you can sponsor the Weird News segment, just as I'm reading right now. You can find pricing and details at thewitchinghourspodcast.com. Come get weird with us.
There you go. Speaking of spooky little book, I don't mention it very often, but there is a new book out, Haunted Travels Anthology Volume 2, that I am an author in. So you can always go to Amazon. It's put out by Sam Baltrusis. It's got a lot of really great authors. So if you're interested in reading about a bunch of different haunted places across the country that you can visit, you can go pick that up from Amazon. And my contribution is a little article in there about Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park and our trips there. So,
and I just finished reading the whole thing, and it was very nice. Very good. Good stuff.
Awesome. All right. So into the weird news. Story number 1 tonight. Pentagon releases a new batch of UFO files. I feel like this is the news every week because they've been releasing a lot of files.
The Pentagon, a lot of stuff.
It is a lot. Well, we've been going over some of it on the show. It is a lot. It's so much we can't get through it. It's like it takes time. Yeah. The Pentagon on Friday released a new batch of documents and images related to the UFOs, including a military pilot's recollection of a huge, strange triangle that blocked out the stars over Afghanistan in 2002. The 41 new files posted on the Pentagon's UFO website include a mix of documents, images, and videos. The records come from the Pentagon, FBI, CIA, State Department, and Executive Office of the President, with the oldest being from 1950 and the most recent being from this year. The disclosure is the 5th release under an executive order President Trump signed in January, directing the military and other agencies to produce more documents related to UFOs.
We've enjoyed looking at the videos here.
Yeah, we have. We've seen some interesting things. One of the things we were talking about was just watching the videos on our episodes. You see something that seems to be moving really fast, but without context. Like, I don't know how necessarily fast that is. And that's interesting because sometimes I put out numbers that I think I remember hearing of, like how fast some of these things are moving. In the story tonight, kind of skipping ahead on all these different incidents. Some of these in this new release file are going anywhere between 250 miles an hour all the way up to 1,300 miles per hour.
1,300 miles an hour.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, like a lot of these things, it's like, oh, well, that could be a balloon. I mean,
sure, going 1,300 miles an hour.
But yeah, yeah. So, like, you know, like, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. So, lots and lots of things are being seen, and at least some of it, a very small percentage of it, probably is being released that we can take looks at. So that's story number one. Story number two, photos reveal a new lunar crater carved out by one of SpaceX's discarded rockets. We talked about that in the weird news last week. On Wednesday, an out-of-control SpaceX Falcon 9 second stage careened into
out of control
at 5,400 miles per hour.
Yikes.
Scientists believe that the 39-foot-long rocket would have hit with the force equivalent to 15,000 sticks of dynamite. Now a Korean...
You're just okay with it. Whatever.
Yeah. Now a Korean lunar satellite has captured the first images of the new crater that the blast left behind. What if there was just one little area on the moon that has some kind of ancient bacterial life on
it?
And
we just destroyed it. We're just like, whatever. Blow it up.
Yeah. The Korean Aerospace Research Institute, Danuri spacecraft flew over the impact. Shortly after the SpaceX rocket collided, the orbiter also managed to grab images 30 minutes before the impact, so they can look at the strike. And for anyone who's interested in that, I did put the photo of that up yesterday on our Discord page. So if you go to the Team Weird Discord under Weird News and the Witching Hours, you can find a picture of the crater left behind by the SpaceX rocket. Keeping on the UFO news tonight, which is going to be a theme, series of UFO sightings has Tasmanian mayor seeking answers. The mayor of a Tasmanian community is hoping to get to the bottom of a series of UFO sightings that have captivated his constituents over the last several weeks. According to local media reports, Meander Valley residents first noticed puzzling illuminated orbs over the nearby mountain one night at the start of July. The situation grew stranger when the lights returned the next evening and have since become a persistent presence in the sky nearly every night. Much consternation of many individuals who have spotted the mysterious UFOs. The incidents following something of a familiar pattern, as the lights regularly appear for approximately 45 minutes, with as many as 6 orbs sometimes seen moving at unusually sharp angles before ultimately vanishing. After several weeks of the mysterious sightings, the mayor recently brought the issue to the local media in hopes that someone can provide an answer for what residents have been seeing. We just can't explain what they are, Wayne Johnston conceded, asking for any additional witnesses to come forward.
Weird.
Another story number 4, was contributed by our very own CMC Air Boss.
CMC.
Sticky alpine flower confirms Darwin's 150-year-old carnivorous plant prediction. A flowering plant has been confirmed as a new carnivorous lineage, according to research published in Nature Communications. The findings show that the Saxifraga candelabrium can attract, trap, digest, and absorb nitrogen from insects, supporting a prediction made by Charles Darwin more than 150 years ago that's just being proven now. Field observations and surveys of existing plant samples showed that the insect prey were present on the glandular hairs of 43 out of 45 specimens, with mature plants displaying an average of 71 trapped insects in total. So a plant that they knew existed, but they didn't know was carnivorous because it sucks the nitrogen out of.
I mean, insects. We have other carnivorous plants. The pitcher plant, Venus flytrap.
Yeah. And so this is a new one.
What was Darwin's theory? That there was another kind?
That this specific alpine flower was carnivorous.
Carnivorous, gotcha.
But they were never able, because it didn't really eat it. It's just sucking out the nitrogen from...
It's a vampire. Mm-hmm. It's a vampire plant.
So more carnivorous plants. We got that on our 2026 list there. And
bingo!
The last story for tonight. Experimental U.S. weapon test blamed for a crashing medical plane and killing 4 Americans. A U.S. military GPS jamming exercise has been linked to a medevac plane crash that killed 4 people in the mountains of New Mexico.
Good Lord.
The twin-engine Beechcraft King Air was flying from Roswell to Ruidoso in early May to collect a patient when its pilot suddenly lost access to their modern navigation systems.
Roswell? Hmm.
It was a clear, nearly moonless night, leaving the crew with few visual references as they flew over the dark and sparsely populated landscape. But about 100 miles away, military personnel were testing technology designed to disrupt GPS signals during an electronic warfare event at White Sands Missile Range. According to records from the FAA, the disruption forced the two pilots to rely on older navigation methods as air traffic controllers scrambled to assist several aircraft, reporting similar problems. The pilots eventually abandoned their instrument approach and attempted to fly visually towards the lights of the airport, unaware that the 10,000-foot Captain Mountains stood directly in their path. All four aboard were killed when the aircraft slammed into the rising mountainside at full speed.
I mean, I realized that the plane flight wasn't a planned one because it was an emergency situation. But I know because the CMC, who tells us all kinds of stuff, like he'll hear an airplane during my stream and he'll look it up and tell me what's flying over the top of me. So if CMC can look across the whole country to see what plane is flying over the top of me, don't you think they could have looked at the radar and seen if there was any planes flying around before they did their experiment?
Yeah. The disaster
My phrase of the year is not acceptable. This is not acceptable.
The disaster marked the first fatal civilian plane crash in the U.S. known to be linked to an electronic warfare and has raised urgent concerns about military technology interfering with civilian aviation.
Yes. Quit doing that. How about that?
Yeah, and it said in the article too that a couple other planes were having issues, and they probably were scheduled. So,
right.
Once again, just my observation that there's a lot of problems with those things. So
frustrating.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Jenny, we got something new tonight, new for us and for all of our listeners. As everyone knows, on the first week of the month, on the first week of the month, we have Allison, the Priestess of Wonderland, who comes and joins us and gives us our moon phase and astrology update for the month. And now, on the second week of each month, we are going to have our friend Jim Krug come on to discuss what's going on with MUFON sightings in the UFO world. So we're going to do that tonight. James Krug serves as the planetarium director of the Neil Armstrong Planetarium in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Krug hosts public programs at the planetarium and observatory throughout the year. He has been a MUFON field investigator since 2015 and a Pennsylvania State Section Director for the past 5 years. Please welcome to the show our MUFON expert here, Jim Krug. How are you doing, Jim?
Hey, good, Frosty, Jenny. Thank you all for having me tonight. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you back and hopefully back for many more times.
I hope so. Thanks for the invite. We'll try to keep your listeners engaged here with some up-to-date MUFON news.
Yay.
So the big thing going on within MUFON is finally, after many years, they are replacing their antiquated CMS or case management system. It was built with an older computer programming language called Perl, which is very, very hackable. And so there have been concerns within the organization that somebody could come in, essentially hack into it, and either copy down a lot of confidential information or just destroy a lot of what's there. And so here at the start of next month, it is being replaced by a much more contemporary cutting-edge system called the Andrus system, ANDRUS. And so it's going to allow field investigators to be able to do a lot more with their cases. And then all field investigators across the United States and the world will have to do a couple hours of training through MUFON University to learn how to use the new system. And I'm kind of excited since I've been here last. I guess I should update my bio. I was promoted to chief investigator in all of Pennsylvania. And so that's just, thank you. That's just a couple states north of you all. But it's neat because I literally get to see every single case that comes in. Wow. And unlike other chief investigators who all had their own style and they were good, I really try to look at every single case before I send that out to state section directors that I used to be all across the state. And then they can either work it themselves or then they can send it to one of the field investigators underneath them. So I like to sort of take sneak peeks at the pictures or the videos and the testimony that are accompanying them. Overall, it's still very, very rare to have a straight up hoax through MUFON. Most people that submit are well-meaning, although I will say our field investigators have done a phenomenal job at identifying a lot of natural phenomenon. In fact, all summer long, Venus has been very, very heavily misidentified as a UFO. It's been in the western skies after sunset. It's been particularly bright. And so that's tripped up a lot of witnesses. Another thing that's actually tripped up witnesses, surprising here, is insects flying in front of Ring doorbell cameras.
Oh.
So right now on MUFON, they actually only have, if you go to report a UFO, they only really have one disclaimer, and they say, make sure before you file a report that it's not a SpaceX Starlink satellite, because I'm sure both of you have seen them. They look so crazy and odd.
Wild.
Yeah. And so I kind of joke, but only half joke. They need to add a disclaimer there for insects in front of Ring doorbell cameras. And so, and again, people mean well, and it does look really, really odd. But what a lot of people don't realize is the frame rate of the camera. It's good as far as home security goes, but it's also not like even the quality of a camera you would have on your cell phone. And so especially at night, low light conditions, these insects fly by up close, so they look out of focus, and then a lot of witnesses misidentify them as rods because of the frame drag. Instead of a single point, it kind of looks like a streak. And so we've actually had a number of those, and our field investigators have also, this was pretty cool. A couple of the pictures I got this month looked really, really good. It was this odd pitch black daytime object, and one of our field investigators identified it as an escaped Mylar balloon, and he actually linked to a swath of sightings across the Philadelphia area at the same time, all from this misidentified Mylar balloon. We also had another one.
So that balloon was not traveling at 13,000 miles an hour.
No, it was not. It was just kind of floating around.
It was a floater. It's a floater.
It was a floater. We had one, another field investigator correctly correlated another UFO sighting to a very bright meteor that showed up over Pennsylvania. But just so your listeners know, not all of them can be totally explained. Just today, I'll read this one to you. It just came across our desk. Are you both familiar with Pennsylvania's Roswell, they call it, the Kecksburg UFO sighting?
Yes, we are familiar with Kecksburg.
Excellent. So this one just came in today. So in MUFON, for those who aren't familiar, a lot of people will report up-to-date UFO sightings, but sometimes people will report what are called historical cases. So maybe something happened to them when they were young, and either they were too scared or embarrassed to report it, or they didn't really think much about it at the time, but over many, many years, it had just kind of lingered. And so just kind of reading through the cases and assigning them today, this one just came to us today, and I'm allowed to read the actual description. I'm not going to read the witness's name or break confidentiality, but this came from Westmoreland County, which is in southwest Pennsylvania by Pittsburgh. And so here was the case. Short description, fireball in sky. Says, I wanted to report this because I'm 71 and the other witness, my mother, is deceased. I always thought this occurred in summer until I saw a TV show saying it was December, but the weather was unusually warm. My mother and I were sitting on the back porch steps waiting for my dad to get home from work. He would get home between 4:30 and 5 p.m. We lived in a one-story house. There was no sound. Suddenly, we saw a large ball of fire glowing right over the top of our house. It was coming from the east and headed southwest with a gradual turn towards the south. My mother sent my college-age brother to go to the path of the object to check if anything fell off of it. My brother never saw it. He was in the house. He was just sent to check on the situation. He didn't find anything. There were no trees in the way, just big fields. We were told it was a meteor on the news. It definitely went east to southwest. I reported this to someone in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, who just blew me off. He was on a radio show. He wanted to have my brother call in. And the witness says, I just wanted a record of this, mainly the direction it took. Myself, my mother and brother have almost photographic memories. This is why I remember the details. And as I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, boy, oh boy, this sounds a lot like the Kecksburg UFO crash. And so I checked the date of the event, and it's December 9th, 1965, which was the same exact time. And so the witness for this one obviously didn't attach any photos, videos. They didn't have any videos back in the 1960s of something so fast. But I dispatched this to one of our best field investigators in that part of the state. And I said, hey, I don't want to get too excited, but I think there's a chance that this could have been a direct eyewitness to the Kecksburg UFO crash. Wow. And so the only thing that's unusual about it is eyewitnesses throughout the Midwest said that object was zigzagging. It looked like a bright green fireball, which wouldn't zigzag like a fireball or a meteor. And it came into Pennsylvania from the west. This witness is saying it came from the southwest. It came from the east and moved southwest. But I myself have actually had a really interesting MUFON case with a witness who described seeing with his older sister after school a similar acorn-shaped craft that actually flew from central PA towards Pittsburgh to the west. So either it was the famous Kecksburg crash, and at the last minute there was a direction change, and then it retreated on its path before crashing outside Pittsburgh. Or another possibility, this could have actually been some type of advanced U.S. military technology, something reverse engineered that the Nazis were working on during Operation Paperclip. The U.S. military may have been testing it a few days. A number of witnesses throughout southwestern Pennsylvania saw it. And then on one day in December, one actually crashed. So those are the types of cases that we get, which is pretty cool. And then one visual just to show you all. Frosty, am I, as a humble guest, allowed to share my screen at all?
Yeah, you should be. Let me know if you have any issue. Okay, got it.
Yes, found it. And so what's really, really neat, let me share my entire screen, and this will only take a minute. So I am also a member of MUFON's ERT team, the Experiencer Resource Team. And so these are the type of cases that deal with a more hardcore situation, kind of like alien abductions. And so can you all see my screen right now? Can you see this eyewitness drawing?
We sure can.
Excellent. So I had a series of interviews with a really fascinating witness, and what she described was highly unusual. She was laying on her couch late at night, and she was watching a UFO documentary on her phone through YouTube. And at one point, with her fingers, she tried to spread out to zoom in because she thought that she saw writing on the underside of one of the crafts. And she said she suddenly tried to sit up very, very quickly, unexpected somewhat. She just tried to sit up and adjust. She said as she sat up, she inadvertently minimized YouTube, went to camera, and went to selfie mode. And then to her shock, saw two grayish yellow extraterrestrials right behind her at the corner of this couch right here, essentially looking at her screen with her.
They were watching the documentary with her?
Yes. And so she herself immediately turned around, saw nothing there, looked back at her phone, and then they were just gone.
Wow.
And I found it fascinating because one thing that I've kind of gotten into a little bit based on a number of cases is multi-wavelength identification of UFOs and extraterrestrials. So a number of people using night vision goggles, not only the older ones that kind of glow green, but the newer, fancier military ones that are phosphorus that kind of glow white. They've been able to report seeing UFOs they cannot see with the naked eye. And so I do think there's a good chance our eyes are tuned to such a narrow band of the spectrum that there's a really good chance, and remote viewers report this too, that outside of the visible part of the spectrum, there's a wealth of activity going on with extraterrestrials. And so it was a fascinating case, and talking to her more, it turned out her own father was in military intelligence. He himself was a lifelong experiencer. And then peeling back layers of the onion, she was as well. And so I found the account fairly credible, and I thought, isn't it neat? Maybe there was a chance there were 2 extraterrestrials beside her, and they really hadn't anticipated the sudden movement of her. And so for just a split second, her phone camera picked them up before they either disappeared or activated some type of cloaking, and then she couldn't see him at all. So there's been a lot of neat stuff going on in MUFON, Pennsylvania over the past month.
Wow. Excellent.
Thank you, Jim. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
But if you got a ring door light, bell light, and you see some crazy stuff on it, it's probably just a bug.
Yeah.
There's at least a good chance of that. I've seen ones which are pretty cool. Even from where I live, people have actually been able to record like meteor explosions in their Ring doorbell cameras. But a lot of times it ends up being bugs. And just add one last thing to what Frosty said earlier about the Department of War releasing these UFO files now. I'm actually part of a special MUFON team where we're getting assigned these files. And so we have to look through the Department of War releases. We get assigned about 10 files at a time just to see if there's anything credible. And most of them are fairly mundane, but I have gotten some good ones. So far, at least, most of the good ones that come from the military aren't from them trying to see UFOs. They actually come from war zones like Afghanistan, where a lot of their satellites are just doing routine surveillance to try to keep the troops safe, and then they inadvertently pick up a UFO. So if you have the time to dig, there have been a few neat ones in there.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Jim, and we're going to have you back on for a full episode here in the future, but we look forward to your next update.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a wonderful August, and I'll see you and all your listeners in September. Thanks everyone.
Jim. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
All right, excellent. And Jim brought up Venus. We've seen Venus a lot on our evening walks, and our daughter asked the other day, what is that? Because the sky was still pink, like you couldn't see the stars yet, and Venus was super bright. So I gave her the whole, teacher rundown on it, and she was asking all kinds of questions. So I imagine a lot of people are seeing Venus and wondering what the heck's going on right now. All right, guys. We're excited about tonight because we had a wonderful conversation the last time our guest was on. And as soon as we got off, we're like, there's still so much that we want to talk about. So Holly Hall is an intuitive life and business consultant with an education in psychology, philosophy, and hypnosis therapy. Holly is a master astrologer and clairvoyant. She integrates insights from past, present, and future timelines, combining the expertise of an astrologer, intuitive guide, and coach. She currently hosts the show Stargazing with Ask Holly Hall on the Spirit Realm Network. Please welcome once again to the show, Holly Hall. How are you doing, Holly?
I'm doing great, Jenny and Frosty. How are you guys?
It's nice to finally meet you. I had to miss out on it last time.
Yeah,
my daughter had something to do, and Allison filled in. Yeah,
that's right.
It's nice to see you.
It worked out really well though, because
Allison knew a lot of questions about astrology because I just watched the episode today, so I could be prepared. And she had so many great questions that I would have never known to ask because I don't know that much about astrology. Really?
Yeah, she did awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, excellent. Well, the last time, first off, what have you been up to since we've had you on last? I know you were always super busy, and the last time we were talking to you, you were going to be making an appearance on none other than the famous Coast to Coast AM. And
I
Yeah.
know.
what
It
else?
was brilliant.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
great. And I got a lot of connections from that. They're going to have me back on. So they say probably in about
Ooh.
3 months. They say the guests that they like, they have back on every 6 months. And they said I would be back.
Yay.
So we'll see what happens. I don't always count my chickens, or what did they say? Count my
Yeah.
eggs before they're hatched.
Right.
I was just at a conference, PSI, the Psy Games, and that was awesome. In March, I don't know when we did our last session. In March, I was at one in Arizona, and this one was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I met a lot of amazing, wonderful people. Chris Bledsoe, which I've interviewed before, and he knows who I am whenever he sees me. He's like, "Hey, Holly." So it was really fascinating. It's quite interesting what types of abilities are starting to come out that are natural, specifically with children, but even adults. So the Psy Games is where people compete to see how the remote viewing, telepathy, blind sight, all of that. And I was actually able to get a little lesson in blind sight. So they put the blinders on me, and I had to hold like colored papers, and I shocked myself. I got like 70% right. 30% is considered, anything over 30% is considered psychic. There were certain colors I just couldn't get, but there was a pattern of colors that every time she gave them to me, I got them. So I was kind of cool, fun.
Wow. So can you, I mean, you kind of did explain what blindsight is, but is there more to it than just like,
Well, there's two different types. There's blind sight, where they're saying that people are remote viewing or they're
Okay.
seeing without their eyes. Nicola Farmer, who does the ICU, and she's kind of the forefront of the Psy Games, and she's actually being asked in a lot of, she's been on the telepathy tape. She'll be in the telepathy tape movies. She was in the Superhuman 1 movie with Caroline Corey. I was able to see Superhuman 2 premiere when we were there too, which is phenomenal. I mean, when that comes out, guys, it's going to blow you away. I was even blown away with some of the science that's coming out. This is science-backed proof of how superhuman we are.
Wonderful.
So the other one with Nicola Farmer is that it is cellular vision, which means your entire body is able to visualize.
That sounds wild, but somehow it makes sense to me.
I know, right? It's just, I don't know. Like everybody, they call them windows. So I really didn't see a window. I mean, it's the first time I did it. So if I keep doing it and doing it, I'll open up a window, and a window means you can literally see it. But I could see more when it was behind me, behind my head. So I had the blindfolds on, and I would feel the paper, but it would be, when I put it behind, like right about here, then I would be able to see it. And sometimes I could see like pixelated color, but mostly I just knew. I just knew, like, that's, and it was very quick. I'm like, yellow, red, blue. And she's like, yeah, she was actually really shocked.
Wow.
Because I'm an adult, and adults are harder to learn than children are.
But you have been
I have the
using these
abilities.
kinds of gifts, and you practice them, and the more you practice them, it's like a muscle, the better you are at it. So
Yeah.
you do that type of work for a living. So it makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know that there's a connection between aliens and astrology?
No, tell us more.
I'm actually really fascinated with this whole alien. It's just like, it's like a TV series where you just can't put it down. You can't wait till the next one comes out. That's me right now, watching like everything, anywhere from David Grush to, like anything that's coming out from the government. I've had my own insights as well, but with ancient aliens on the History Channel, on Ancient Aliens, they actually brought out the popularization of, if you look at the old ancient glyphs, they've got the entire zodiac system on these Babylonian time glyphs, and they actually have all the sun and the moon and all the planets, including Pluto. And there's no way with the naked eye that they could see past Saturn back then. So there's this sort of galactic code. And this was a book that was written by Samantha Kennedy, and Ancient Aliens and Astrology is the book. And it suggests that the zodiac is an advanced mathematical language. And even in like Galepi Tepe, it's one of the pillars that Graham Hancock found. And this was the constellation of Scorpio is in there. There's also Sumerian mythology that the constellation of Aquarius is where in the Aquarian age is where people, the aliens that were then are going to come back. But one of the things that I knew before I even researched it, and this is how I know this because I was doing this with astrology. I could see what I would call like the planet Uranus. I would call, well, you're a Uranian. I stopped using that term because it sounds too much like Iranian, but I would go, you're a starseed, because there is this cosmic origin, and this was popularized by Brad Steger, that there's a belief system that human souls originally are reincarnated from other star systems. I've been told that my star system is Sirius B, and there are people that say they're from Pleiadians or they're from all the different star systems. The way that I can, Uranian or Orion, the way that I can tell is I look at the planet Uranus or Aquarius and I see if there's a positive or strong contact in somebody's chart. And then what I say to them, which I think a lot of people could probably attribute this, but I'll say, you've always felt literally alien since you were young. You felt different. You felt odd. You felt like you couldn't connect. And one of the big telltales is that I call it sort of like Spock syndrome, where you find it really difficult to understand why people are base their decisions or their reactions on emotions only, and that they're overly emotional. I'm not talking about sensitive. I'm not talking about being intuitive or empathic. I'm talking about people that are just very, very emotionally based with no intellect connected to it, like no grounded concept around it. And I call it the Spock one because if you ever watch this old Star Trek series, he would always make that comment that this does not compute. That he just doesn't understand that side of humans. But of course, he was half human and half Vulcan. And so that's the origin and the connection between aliens and astrology.
Wow. Yeah, that's really interesting because I've always kind of wondered about the origins of astrology. And like, I don't know if we mentioned this last time, but it's one of those things for me where it's like, it makes a lot of sense. Like Jenny is the one who kind of introduced me to astrology and were kind of telling me about the signs when we first started dating and stuff. And so much of it makes sense. I fit my sign, so many of my friends, but I always kind of wondered like the science behind it. But this idea that it could be more of like a mathematical kind of thing that's being, something about the universe that we don't quite understand that was put into a way for us to be able to understand it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes back in BC, Babylonian, Mesopotamia, like it's ancient, zodiac. It's
I mean, our whole universe is built on micro and macro patterns that reflect and mirror each other. So it's like, why wouldn't that be part of it too? It's all connected.
I think it's a decoded language. And if you look back in like the book of Enoch, where they talk about the fallen angels, which is the, I'm going to lose. Okay. It'll come to me. It's considered an alien species as well. So let me sit on that one for a bit. But if you look at the fallen angels, it was
like the Nephilim or whatever it is.
That's close to it. That might be
some kind of word like that.
One of them. Yeah. No, the Anunnaki. Thank you.
Anunnaki.
Yeah. So the Anunnaki. So, God had sent them to Earth, and the three rules they had is they weren't to fornicate with women, and they weren't to teach women sorcery, which they did both. So hence why they became the fallen angels. And one of the sorceries is astrology. Now, so it's thanks guys. We can go all into the history of women being, scarred by that for life. But the idea was sorcery did exist and it could be used for good, but that we were too naive to be able to use it for good. So we weren't allowed to use it then. That doesn't mean it's evil to this day. I think
Right.
it can be misused. Definitely. I've seen
For
it
sure.
misused, and I go out of my way not to misuse it because I want it to empower people. I don't
Mhm.
want it to force people into a box where this is what's going to happen to you and you have no choice. That's not it at all. It's energy, it's power, and you can use it to your advantage by just knowing good timing. I mean, good timing for anything can work in a lot of different parts of life, not just with astrology. So it's not too woo-woo to talk about instinctual timing and knowing what to do, when to do it. You know, all of the great business people will talk to you about that, even just with communication. You know, there's
Yeah.
an art to communication and timing and receiving and whatnot. So, yeah.
Well, you brought up Göbekli Tepe a little bit earlier and Graham Hancock, and that's another part of it there. Of like his hypothesis is that that site was specifically put there to warn about like impacts, like meteor showers that
Yeah.
could have, So the idea that we're using this idea of what area of space we're looking into to warn future generations of, which once again is another thing that makes sense, and another way to be able to measure sectors of space that we don't really have any way to wrap our minds around other than that, really, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a map of the sky. There's timing. I will specify because somebody in the chat was saying, Libra, Venus is in Libra right now. I do what's called a sidereal astrology, which is astronomy astrology. And it is what NASA would be looking at in the sky. So I'm looking at the planets where they are against the constellations now, not 2,000 years ago. Western astrology was accurate 2,000 years ago. But as time went on, because Earth is on a wobble and on an axis, we are now, slightly, even the North Star, we're slightly gravitating away from it. And the poles are shifting very, very slowly, but slightly as well. So we're looking in a different direction.
Yeah. So what is Venus in for real right
Venus
now?
is in, we got Virgo. So Mercury's in Virgo, Mars is in Gemini, Venus is in Cancer,
Cancer.
I believe. Yeah. Or is it in Virgo? Venus might be in Virgo and Mercury might be in Cancer. I have to look that up. Since he said Libra, it's probably Virgo.
Yeah, could be
it's
like the
usually
next
just
one
a
over.
few degrees. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the UFO stuff, you're talking about how you've been really like interested in keeping up with all the things that are coming out. In the United States, we do not really get world news at all. They keep us very sheltered from
Really?
anything that's happening anywhere else. So has Canada had any kind of disclosure things coming out like we have here?
They have it on the basic CNN, just when Trump releases a batch, then CNN will advertise it. I don't watch it. I mean, I'll see it sort of like come up on my YouTube feed. YouTube is my place. I mean, I don't watch anything but whatever's on YouTube. So
I'm on YouTube a lot as well. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, to me, I can't even watch the shows I used to like to watch. I don't want pretend TV anymore. I want real. Like, I want to watch something that's real, or at least I can decipher whether it's real, even if it's just live and I don't connect with it. But I'm just fascinated with podcasts and that. So it shows up CNN, but most of what I do is the people that I follow, like Jesse Michaels and, a lot of the shows that talk about the UFO, the Y files and things like that.
Yeah.
And or anything that is coming out, like I'll just punch in, David Grush and then see what comes out recently on that. And it went stale for a while. Like, it was kind of hopping a couple of months ago, and then all of a sudden, like, crickets. And I was like, is there anything new coming out? I love Ross Courthart, which he just put out. You guys should watch a video that he just put out today. He talked about something you were talking about earlier on what some of the UAPs have been. One of them was a balloon. They're not a balloon, but that's what they said. Or there was another excuse that they had. So he had some facts of how it wasn't. I have my own predictions around what's going on, and some of the predictions are already starting to
Do you want to do you want to share them with us?
Yes, I do. So a few months ago, and I even said this to my husband. I said, I don't know if a lot of these anomalies, UAPs, I roll my eyes because they have all these acronyms now for all these different things, right? But there are different forms for sure. I said I don't think they're all UFOs or UAPs. I think they're us.
Yes.
Humans
Yeah.
are reverse engineered, and they're practicing basically and going over the United States. So mine was China. I think China is the strongest of the reverse engineering, and they're also very strong and they're secretive around it. It's interesting because Canada's government has kind of gone on the hush right now, but Canada's government is trying to be more in an alliance with China and work more with China than with the United States, or I think there's somewhere in Europe. Saudi Arabia, I think, was one of them too.
We are kind of a mess right now.
What's that?
I said we are kind of a mess right now, so we're not taking any offense, Canada. It's okay.
Yeah, one of it. I travel a lot. As you know, I travel a lot in the States, and I get flack for it here because there's this we're not going to the States, which is one of my biggest pet peeves because, let's not go back to the Holocaust where we start like damning everybody because of one person.
Right.
And I'm kind of embarrassed, to be honest with you, that Canada is being that adamant about it. I have a lot of family. My dad's American. My sister's American. I have a lot of friends, a lot of clients in the States, and everybody's wonderful. So like travel away, go and help with the business around there. But with that prediction, the recent one, which was Ross Coulthart was talking about today, is that China has all this reverse engineered. And I think that there's going to be a huge battle. And this just came as a download for me today, that there's going to be a battle where the United States is going to say China, then China's going to go, that's not us. It's you. You're the one who's done this. And there's just going to be like pointing the finger and blaming, it's not us, it's them. And it's this kind of game between them so that they're not disclosing the powers that they have or the engineering that they have.
Yeah.
And it's going to get to the point where even us watching all of the coverage on it is going to start getting confused at is this anomaly? Is it real? Is it the military? Is it the CIA? Is it the United States? Is it China? Is it Russia? Like, is it, for the Pleiadians?
I think we're already there, Holly. I think we're already there. Jenny's term for all of this has been
confused awareness.
Yeah.
Confused awareness. Like there's something going on.
I have also picked up on that a lot of it's us.
Yeah, I even thought that when I was at the Psy Games with and Chris Bledsoe, and I've been at his night watching, and I've seen the red ball come. I seen a lot of other things he was pointing out. I was kind of like, I don't know, that's not enough for me. But the red ball was like huge. But because NASA latched onto him so quickly, I shouldn't say so quickly, but within a couple of years, and then History Channel and Skinwalker Ranch, and they did a lot of extensive testing with him. I'm not 100% convinced that every single thing that he sees is anomaly. That it could be NASA, presenting stuff for him to see and other people to see. It's all psyop, right? But at the end of the day, I believe that the aliens themselves will present themselves to us. That will be undeniable. I don't know how that can be done because of the technology. They can do anything now and it would look real. Like, how would we know?
Yeah.
But it has to be something like, have you guys ever seen, it was Gene Roddenberry, and he did this, and I think it only lasted 2 years, 2 seasons. And it was called Earth's Final Contact. Have you ever seen it?
I know about it. And it's been recommended to me, but I haven't watched it.
You gotta watch it. I was addicted to it when it came out a long time ago, and then I even bought the DVDs. I don't know if I still have them somewhere. And what happened was the aliens came and presented themselves to Earthlings, and they would go into the audience, and they like this one person had no arm, and the person grew an arm. Another person was blind and they could see, but it was like so obvious. Like you could see the arm grow, and you could see it wasn't just like get up and walk. Like you could plant somebody to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that's about the extreme it would have to be for us to believe this is not,
Yeah. Well, there has
kidding.
been a lot of talk from all kinds of different people, like people who supposedly know things, like secret things, to woo-woo people who are picking up on psychically, that there is supposed to be some like false flag alien invasion, which the whole battle thing that you just talked about makes me think that that would be part of it, where they're like, here come the aliens and they're going to attack us, but really it's just us attacking ourselves, making it look like it's something else. Yeah,
that
would
is,
make a lot of sense.
I've heard that too. Like that's how they're going to keep us, put us back in our houses again.
Right.
Don't come out because it's dangerous out there.
Oh, like Project Blue Book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff. And, another thing that, has been interesting about this too, is what you brought up, this idea of so much of it being possibly our government and other world governments, because we've gotten messages a lot from what we'll call the woo-woo community that, I think you have had messages like this too, Jenny, that the extraterrestrials aren't coming around right now. Like they've kind of put Earth like on a little bit of like a no-fly zone for a little bit.
Feels like they're like checking in on us, but they're not like coming to visit.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Ross Coulthard today just put up on his show that they have proof. He has proof that we or the American government is shooting and bringing them down and killing them, and they're using a radio magnetic energy, so it just zaps them, like it fries them, and they come down. And there's been some civilians accidentally fried. He named the 4 that were. And so, yeah, they're not coming around now because that's what we're doing to them.
Yeah, I've heard some secret new like sonic type weapons that they're using. It's so
they've had that for a long time.
David
Fresh talked about it a long time ago. They've had that zapping microwave, like
scary, terrifying. It's terrifying. Well, let's change the subject a little bit here.
Yeah, let's lighten it up. I love aliens. I think they love us too.
I do too. Last time you were on, there was a brief mention during you were talking about, like picking up on past lives for clients, and that you talked about some of them having like spiritual lives. And if I remember correctly, you said you also had seen people on other planets, which we had kind of talked about already. But I was wondering if you had any like specific stories or want to share some more insight about that.
About like stories of clients relating
like weird past lives that weren't on Earth, or that didn't fit the norm.
I do past life regression as well with my clients, which is half of what I talked about with George Norrie on Coast to Coast. And I had one particular client who it was the first time actually where they couldn't go into their human form. They kept saying, I don't know. I don't see myself. I feel I'm existing, but I can't see myself. I feel like I'm up in a tree. I feel like I'm up in the sky, but I'm following this little girl in the forest. And if I feel like I'm protecting her, I feel like I'm guiding her. I feel like I'm supposed to be there as I don't know, like protecting. And so we figured that they were a guide. That's a lifetime where they were a guide. And that was the particular person they were a guide for. And it actually really shocked them too. They were like, what? This is not where I expected to go.
Right.
I would never even imagine that this is what would happen. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple like that as well. I've had just one who actually felt like they were on another planet, that they weren't here. But because as soon as it becomes not much of a reality, the left brain starts kicking in,
Mhm.
and then they start losing it. Because
Yeah.
I had the one with the planet, started to describe it in detail, and then all of a sudden, because she started questioning it, she started to lose the connection,
Mhm.
like
Yep.
she was there. And however, I have been able, specifically, I've worked with a few clients and their children where I would tell them this is a specific gift that they have, and they've had this gift since they were like, since they could talk. And this comes from when they were not on earth. This was comes from when they didn't have many incarnations on earth. And a lot of the mothers would go like, "Oh my gosh, how would you know that? There's no way you would know that." But anything stronger than that, of coming from other planets, that's about the limitation that I've experienced with clients.
Okay.
Hmm.
How
Well,
about
let's give it 1 second, Jenny.
go
We're
ahead? Oh, yeah,
reaching
it's the
about
top of the hour. Go
here.
ahead.
So it's almost 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Just let you catch everybody up with the reset here. If you've joined us since the beginning of the show, you've stumbled in after we started tonight. Our guest is Holly Hall, and we're talking about all kinds of things tonight: astrology and aliens and ancient aliens and star seeds, and we're just kind of getting going here too. So welcome in. Thank you for joining us. If you have a if you have a question or a comment for us or Holly tonight, just put it in chat, and we will get that get that brought up on screen. And if you have any questions, we'll get those answered to the best of our ability. And I just want to mention once again, Ask Holly Hall is on with us on the Spirit Realm Network. So for the Spirit Realm Network, you can always join on Facebook, and we have a lot of exciting things right around the corner with launching a new website and also having some apps and stuff coming out to be able to watch at home. So stay tuned for more stuff from the Spirit Realm Network. All right.
All right. So I really wanted to get to this question because last time you were on, it briefly got brought up and there was no details about it. And I was like, what?
I
We need
failed
to
in my
talk
job.
about this more. Okay. So the last time you were on, someone had a question about if you've ever astral traveled, and you were like, not really sure if I've astral traveled, but I have a lot of dreams where I feel like I'm living other lives.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hear more about that. Like, what are these other lives that you're living? Are they like different timelines for your life right now, or are they just completely different people?
Both. I dream excessively. Like my husband's like, I don't know how you do this, like every single night. And they're not all pleasant. I'm so used to them that the unpleasant ones do not normally bother me. But yeah, sometimes I'm myself, and sometimes I'm with people that I'm in this lifetime now, but they don't look like them, but I know it's them. Sometimes I'm not myself. I'm somebody else living a completely different life, doing a completely different thing. It's just average everyday stuff. It's nothing miraculous. Like I'm just like walking around, going to work, getting in my car, walking my dog. Like, like
Yeah.
it's going to the grocery store. Like it's so bizarre, so bizarre. And then some of them are kind of freaky. I've been studying dreams since I was in my early 20s because I realized it was odd that I had as many dreams. I could remember 5 dreams a night, which is about the
Yeah.
average that we have every 90 minutes if you sleep well, and I do sleep very well. So I know all the different types of dreams, and I know the ones that are, living in another. I do believe that we are living multitude of lives at the same time, and we choose to consciously be. Well, this conscious is aware of this one, and I'm sure there's another conscious that's aware of that one. But this conscious is not aware of that conscious. So
Right.
I don't know.
I agree with you about that. And I can't pretend to understand
Yeah.
it or like why it's like that or how it works, but I definitely feel that way too.
It seems like it really is a rabbit hole that keeps going deeper and deeper the more we get into those ideas and past lives and present lives and future lives. And yeah, it's
Yeah, because if
definitely
all time
quite
is
the
happening at the same time, which is like the theory, then it would just be lives.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be past, present, or future. It'd just be
They're
these
just
are all of
there
your
is
lives. Yeah.
there's like your present can affect your past, and your future can affect your present. There's even a cognitive understanding that even as I'm speaking right now, I'm in my future, because my split second, nanosecond of a brain has already, like, it takes it's not even a nanosecond. I can't even the time, like, for you to even hear what I'm saying.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
For me to hear myself saying what I'm saying. So I'm already I'm already in the future, and it's already the past, what I'm saying. So
Did that break anybody's brain? Sorry.
I know that breaks your brain, but, and that is science behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of scientific tests to prove how fast our brain knows what's happening before it even happens, before you even think about it happening.
Right.
Mhm.
Cole has a question for you.
Yeah.
He wants to know, do specific planetary alignments influence alien connections?
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking he's talking globally, that there might be a planetary aspects that are happening now or in the future that could show that aliens are about. So let me put it this way. Go ahead.
I was going to say specifically, he's also talking about, like, with astrology and astronomy being combined with that. Are there certain alignments that make it where can be better communication with certain aliens or certain connections?
I would say that it would be, you would want to look at your chart, if that's what he's speaking of, or they're speaking of, and look at where the planet Uranus or Uranus is in your chart. And also to take a look at where Aquarius, you're all going to have Aquarius. It might be in the 8th house. It might be the 2nd house. And that will determine your connection. If Neptune is highly involved, you can do this in a meditative state or in a sleep state. If a lot of earth signs are involved in it, then you're going to have to do it on a practical grounded stage, like while you're in nature, or doing mantras. So I guess that's the best answer that I have, if I understand the question properly.
What about the other way that you were thinking about it, like the global aspect, like for aliens to come connect with us in general?
So globally, the prediction is for June of 2027. Well, we're at the tipping point right now. So the tipping point starts in September, astrologically. I'll tell you too, Chris Bledsoe predicted, he calls it when Regulus is the red star, which is the heart of the constellation of Leo, is in alignment of where it was with the pyramid a million years ago, whatever that is. I don't know the exact, I'm paraphrasing. And he said it was going to be April. Well, when I heard that, this year, when I heard that, I looked it up, and it's September, end of August into September. And it happens every single year. But this, because Regulus is a fixed star, but this is that another combination that's going with it is this September, and it hasn't happened in whatever 2000 years. The ending of it, which is another cycle, which is an alignment of four planets, outer planets, is in June of 2027. So to me, the tipping point, which I call the Great Divide, is starting in now. Pretty much the energy is starting now, September. I talked about it on my Substack, and ending, not the dawning of it, is ending in June of 2027. After June of 2027, which I believe something massive will happen, and I do believe it's going to be alien exposure to alien technology, where they want to help us. There is the idea that they are our future, that they're us in the future. I'm not adverse to that idea. I think some of them, not all of them, but I do think some of them are. And that's when it's going to be exposed. The divide, it's going to be exposed heavily in September, and then obvious in June. The divide begins between now and June. So if you think that there's been a lot of division in the last 5 years, it's ramping up like tenfold. And I've had clients, they're afraid. I just did a Substack on it, and I have a regular coaching client, and she goes, "You're freaking me out." And I go, "No, this is what our reaction to it is what you should be freaked out about. If it makes you angry, if it makes you argue with people, if it makes you more divided, like you have to be on a side, then you got to take a good look at yourself. But what's happening out there, it's not harmful. It's not scary. Nothing's going to hurt you. But your reaction to it can be very hurtful. If you've got abandonment issues, if you've got bullying issues, if you're bullied or abused as a kid, it can trigger you, right? And a lot of people have already experienced it in the last 5 years, the division around it. Now, what I call the Great Divide is when this is all over, we're going to divide into two different ways of living. Half, or let's say half, I don't know what the division will be, but let's say half will go status quo with technology and government surveillance and believing that the big brother is there to really help us and serve us. And the other half will go, you know what, we can do this on our own. We can have our own government. We can house ourselves. We can use our own technology. We don't need to wait for government approvals and we're going to do this separate on our own. But that'll be another 5 years after that. It won't go without a fight. Let's put it that way.
Nope.
And then there'll be people like arguing with each other about it. You know, that you shouldn't be there. You should be here. But
it was making me think of like there's been so many, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with the idea of the shift, like the earth is shifting into a different dimension, frequency, density, whatever words people use. But I had heard of one theory that it was almost like the earth like splitting into two different earths. And when you were talking about like people making the choice, like making the decision to go like this way or that way, I could see that happening where it was just like this rip like down the middle, like these
well, you know what's interesting
things.
One of the biggest plates on Earth is dividing. There's one in Africa, and they're already feeling it. They're already seeing, scientists are already seeing that it's dividing, and that eventually Africa will be split into two, completely, like the continent split into two. That's going to take thousands of years, but it's already started. The other one is Cascadia, which is going along the coastal of California all the way up into the lower parts of BC. And that is a plate shift as well. Now, this shift is more like that, right? And a slight separation. And that's going to cause earthquake and kind of like a tsunami in that area. And it's not, you can look it up. It can be dangerous for the people that live really, really close to the coast, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and we've had so many really intense earthquakes on the earth. Recently, just one today in Colombia I saw was another 7.4. It's wild.
So as above, so below, right?
Right.
As within, as without.
We do have a comment question on Facebook from Jessica. She said, I've been asking God to send aliens to heal me because I don't trust these humans. Do you think I'm nuts?
I don't think so. I mean, I think there's a fine line between aliens, guides, angels, and your own higher power. So I don't really think it's nuts. I believe I know we have the power. You watch that Superhuman too, and you'll see we have the power to heal ourselves.
Right.
What I would do if I was working with her as a client is I would just put it out there that some other worldly source come and heal me. Maybe it's God, maybe it's an angel, maybe it's an alien, whatever it is, just summon only good to come and help heal you or show you the way, because you can ask for that. And then the next day you read an article you've never seen in your life, or somebody comes up to you and says, oh, you know what happened to me? And this person helped me. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's the kind of help I need too.
Like
it doesn't have
a
to
little
come
road
magically.
signs, like point this way.
Yeah. There are lots of cases, you know, talking about people who have had experiencers and stuff like that, where they do, you know, come back with health problems that have been alleviated. And
Preston Dennett has a whole book on experiences where people are healed by
NDEs. I was addicted to watching NDE
Yeah.
for the longest time. And there's a lot. I mean, some came back with some problems too, but some came back as savants and some came back healed as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple NDE experience people who've had that experience on the show to come and talk about that, and it's always been very interesting.
Yes.
Such a powerful experience for many of them, you know.
Like, and you don't know how it's going to come. I was praying for it a couple of years ago because I was having a lot of panic attacks. And I was always relating it to my thyroid because my thyroid was always being, wonky. And suddenly my adrenals not really failed, but became extremely insufficient. And I ended up in bed like for a year and a half. My doctor diagnosed me and said it could take up to 10 years for you to heal. And I was like, yeah, that ain't going to happen for me.
No way.
But that's what can happen. He experienced it as well. That's how he became proficient in this. So I did a ton of work. Well, I'll tell you, long story short, by the end of it, all the work that I did and the discovery that I did, I no longer have panic attacks and never have. I learned to control my central nervous system. I learned to understand my central nervous system and how my adrenals would react to it. I learned to adjust my diet drastically. And a couple of habits that I had, I got rid of during that time and they didn't come back. So like, careful what you wish for, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It was a year and a half. That's right. Looking back, that wasn't that long of it. And now I'm cured of a whole bunch of problems that I had before that.
Wow.
And I'm able to help a lot of clients with adrenal insufficiency and thyroid issues and, related issues. And I can see it in their chart too. I can see adrenal issues in a chart. I can see thyroid issues in a chart. I can see allergies to dairy and things like that in somebody's chart.
Yeah, I always feel that way too about, my own bad experiences. It's like anytime I'm working with somebody and they've had a similar bad experience, it's like, well, like I feel kind of like it was important that I had that bad experience because now I can help somebody else with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I wanted to spend a little more time this time talking about your books that you've written. Will you tell us again what they are so that we can discuss them a little more?
Yeah. So I wrote 101 Answers from the Universe, which I did at the summer and the fall of 2019 because my higher guides source told me it had to be out in January. If you were to tell me I was going to write a book even 6 months before that, I would no. So I feverishly wrote all of these answers. The first 13 is all about God because I always questioned God. I was born and raised Roman Catholic. That'll tell you a lot right there.
I find that so many people that are into woo-woo stuff are like still sort of Catholic or they're like ex-Catholics.
Yeah, because of it's kind of a negative belief system in some ways. And there's a lot of missing data. But which I've discovered through time what that missing data is. And so I wrote that. I find it kind of fascinating. That it came out and then that the title was told to me, the picture of the book on it was told what I should do. And then the subtitle, Eyes Wide Open. Well, Eyes Wide Open has been used many times since COVID, that all of a sudden people that didn't know now know things that they didn't know before. And
when you said 2019, I was like, oh yeah.
I know. I look back and I'm like, what? And then the one recently I wrote is a workbook. It's perpetual, so it's 30 days, but you can continue to use it. And it's the only way to manifest. And it walks you through chapter by chapter. And it's you can use a journal outside of it. You can write right in the book, and it walks you through all of the different layers and levels of manifesting.
Where can people find them? Find the books?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads. Yeah.
What was one of the more surprising or interesting answers to one of the questions that you had from your asking the universe questions?
Oh my gosh. I think the one was the God one. That's going to be controversial.
You're talking to talking to the preaching to the choir here.
I asked if I asked if there was a God, and the answer was no, not the way that you phrase what you humans call God.
Right.
And I asked if there was like a gender, and it said no, there's no gender, and it is an all-encompassing energy, that God is in everything, and it mostly is an H2O. So the energy of God, which is the energy of love, is in anything with H2O, which everything has H2O in it. And that's where it lives, and that's where it thrives. So I think that was the most shocking one to me. And then at one point I said, well, then if there isn't like a God, then who am I talking to? Like, where am I getting this information from right now? And the answer was just, it's like a library. It's like, I said, it's like Akashic Records. You guys call it Akashic Records, but it's just a library of information that you guys contribute to, and you can download and receive. And it's a constant, perpetual cycle of information that's constantly changing and adjusting. And you have access to that good, bad, and the ugly. It's all there. Yeah. The other one was that we're in a galactic war, which is interesting because that's now becoming popular, that idea. And actually some of the UAP people are coming out and saying that that's what's happening. And I said that back then. So this galactic war between, the best way to explain it is good and evil, but I really like to explain it as sort of like negative and positive.
Yes.
It's this yin yang kind of dance that happens, no different than you need positive and negative on a battery for it to work. That's an example of it. And so it all needs to exist. It all is existing. You can't have good without evil. And people think that's really weird, but you can't. There would be no such thing as good if everything was good. It'd just be
you wouldn't even know it was good.
No, like, the saying, if everything in the world was red, there would be no such thing as a color red.
Right.
So yeah, it's this galactic, and it's out of balance, which is what's happening. So the fight is trying to put it back into balance again. And so that the negative energy is where it belongs, and the good energy is where it belongs. But right now they don't, it's just out of balance. So that's what we're fighting. So that's in the book as well.
And is that connected to us too, like a secret space program, or is this something that's happening outside of us?
It's connected to us. It's an entire, it's the entire universes, or however you want to look at it. It's it's unending, right? There's no beginning, there's no end, you'll never find the end of space or the end of the universes, but it's everybody. Everybody is involved in it. Everyone is a player. Everything is a player in it. And the more that we mess with, I've always been told that Earth is a playground for us. And this is a place that's supposed to be enjoyable for us to go to. And we've messed that up. And so we're trying to take back our playground. We're trying to get it back into balance again.
It hadn't been very enjoyable for like forever.
I don't believe it's a prison planet.
Yeah.
I believe we voluntarily come here, especially now with 8 billion people on a planet, to either play, or at this time is to straighten things out.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like 100 years. I'm talking things need to be straightened out since back in the Atlantis days. Like that's when we screwed up ever since then. And we've been trying to fix it ever since then.
Yeah.
Or Lemuria.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep just digging the hole.
Yeah, we're not doing too great. Doesn't seem like.
No.
We're getting there. We've done this a few times. You know, some say if you watch Greg Braden, there's the understanding that we're in our 6th incarnation and that we've done this 6 times and we've different ways, you know, have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of
according to him, we're the furthest we've ever been. We've gone the
Oh.
furthest that we've ever gone, I think.
A lot of indigenous cultures, that's part of their mythos is that we're on like the, you know, whatever number planet, Earth, you know, because we keep screwing it up.
Yeah.
Let's get it together this time, guys. Let's do it this time for real.
You know, that goes back to someone we talked about at the beginning with Graham Hancock too. The idea that there's been multiple versions of like humans kind of bringing themselves up, starting over again. And like, there's been some kind of humans left behind from the previous incarnation that were able to like go around and like kind of teach some of the fundamentals again. So yeah, I mean, it's not an uncommon idea. For sure.
My new fascination, I don't know what you guys know about this, but that David Grush, there was another, not Richard Dolan, there was another one that was just on Jesse Michaels recently. He usually stays kind of hush hush, but all of them seem to have this common thread where they talk about that there is a benevolent God, higher energy of love. They felt it, they've seen it, they've experienced it, and that's what we all should be focusing on is this prayer, God. So I'm more, because of the Roman Catholic upbringing, I'm kind of question that sometimes, and what I've learned about the problems with some of the scriptures that we've only been, you know, 88 is missing, right? I'm fascinated by where are they getting this information from? How do they know? I think they should start spreading that word more of where are they finding this pot. Like they seem to be very, not just optimistic, but adamant that there is a higher power out there that is loving and that we need to focus on that more and love more than anything else. Have you guys found that common thread that's talked about often?
I haven't heard that through the UFO folks, because what I keep seeing is the fear mongering. But it's good to know that there are some of those UFO folks that are talking about that. And like you said, it would be nice if they talked about it more.
Yeah, David Grush, when he gets into it, he gets really teary-eyed. What's the other one? Brown, something Brown.
It is very emotional.
Yeah, he gets very emotional when he talks about it, and the one I just watched recently, he gets really emotional when he talks about it as well. What's his name? His last name is Brown. Can't find it here. He's not as prevalent right now. But yeah, I don't want it to be posed as a religion. Because that's just
yeah, we've done that enough times.
Right. And but and he even said, like, this is not an actual like being, it's an energy that is pure love. And they've even talked about this black box that when you're in that presence, all you feel is love. And this one other experiencer, he was, and like these are military guys, right? Ex-military, and they're crying when they speak of this memory. Good crying, not bad crying.
Good. They should be. No. Okay, so we're down to the last few minutes. Tell everybody where they can watch your show, what time it comes on, the day.
Yeah. I hope I didn't go off on a tangent in too many different directions.
Oh, no.
That's what we do.
That's what we do around here. And then where they can find you
Yeah.
otherwise on the interwebs.
Yeah. So askhollyhall.com is my website, and pretty much YouTube, Ask Holly Hall, Facebook, Ask Holly Hall, TikTok, Ask Holly Hall. I'm really more active on YouTube, and my Substack is hollyhall.substack. I'm very active on there as well. And of course, Spirit Realm Network on Thursdays at 7:00 Eastern. I do my shows, and you can chime in and ask me a question, and I give
What kind
readings.
of questions do you get on your show?
This is one of my, I will say, there's a little bit of my pet peeve that I have. This is why I have a hard time doing live ones, even on my own, is because it becomes like party trick questions. You know, when am I going to meet my soulmate? Will I win $1 million? When am I going to be happy again? And it's just, there's so much more to it than this, guys. Like you have complete control. Soulmates, we can do a whole show on soulmates. Because I want to dive deep and go like, okay, we can get you a soulmate, but let's look at all this other stuff. And those are the questions that I get. But there are people that do know my work, and they know and they'll ask the deeper questions like, I'm in a job I'm not happy with, and I'm looking for another job, or should I go back to school? I want to move. When should I sell my house? Where's a good place for me to move? I'm having problems with my son. Can you look up their chart and tell me what's going on? Those types of questions are the ones that I really, really like.
Where you can actually provide some substantial information that is helpful, and it sounds like the person might actually follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like, okay, you're going to meet your soulmate July 11th, and it's going to be on the Bridge of Manhattan, and this is what he's going to look like, and this is his age, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
I don't do that.
Exactly.
I can give you a good time frame when it can happen, but you got to kind of be a willing participant and co-creator in it too. And I'm not going to tell you what he's going to look like, because then all you're going to do is look for that person.
Right. And then it could be somebody that just looks like him, and they're awful.
Exactly. Oops, I picked the wrong one. You said he was wearing a polka dotted shirt.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Holly. We had a great time talking to you again tonight.
Anytime. I love it, guys. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Holly. Stick around for just a second. For everyone who's still hanging out with us here, we want to wish you a good night. Join us next week for Rob Guttrow and Monique Too Soon. We're going to have a great show next week as well, so you can join us again next Monday. And for all of you listening at another time in another place, we will see you all next time.